Hey guys, what's up? Skullzi here, and this is Scribing the Scrolls, the third episode of Scribing the Scrolls. It's the ElderScrolls 6 mini podcast where we speculate on ElderScrolls 6 rumors, and since we're veterans of the series, we talk about a lot of the things we think we might see or that we'd like to see in ElderScrolls 6. Now, I highly suggest hitting that subscribe button and turning on notifications so you always can get notified about when new episodes come out, because we put out at least one every week without a doubt. So make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. Last week we were talking about spells that we'd like to see in Elder Scrolls 6, and this week is going to be even better. But first, like I said, I am Skullzi, and with us in our party today is
Panda
and
Sam.
And we all are veteran gamers, and like I said, we love Elder Scrolls. Panda and I are like lore keepers of the series. We know a lot about the game. Sam is a big gamer and has played a lot of RPGs, so she offers good insight.
Yeah, I consider this like tutoring.
Tutoring
For Elder Scrolls.
This week's episode is gonna be awesome because we are talking about something that's kind of been trending lately in the gaming industry, and that is about that rumor that I shudder every time I hear it, about multiplayer being in Elder Scrolls 6. And I'm not talking about Elder Scrolls Online, I'm talking about them putting multiplayer in Elder Scrolls 6. So, I have an opinion on that, Panda has an opinion on that, Sam has words she wants to say about that. First off, I'll just be quick, I don't want to see it in Elder Scrolls 6 for a couple reasons. First reason is because Elder Scrolls 6 has always been one of the most immersive RPGs out there. I feel that if they put multiplayer in there, it could take away from that a little bit. But the main reason is multiplayer games seem to be killing single-player games. They are endangered right now and soon to be extinct for multiple reasons. The main reason is because multiplayer games you can just make a lot more money off of. Elder Scrolls Online makes consistent amounts of money. Let me put it this way. The way game developers make money is, yes, they do make a little bit of sales from games they've already released while they're developing games, but usually those sales aren't very big. Where they get most of their sales from are every 2, or in Bethesda's cases, 4 years when their games come out. They make a bunch of money. That's usually when they make their money. But with Elder Scrolls Online, Bethesda is making a moderate amount of money consistently. And if they release an expansion pack or DLC for Elder Scrolls Online, not only will that expansion take less time and resources to produce, but it will spike sales and revenue from Elder Scrolls Online, thus making it even more profitable for another duration, and then they'll just sink back down to that plateau where they're still making a moderate amount of money. So multiplayer games, that, and then you combine subscription fees and microtransactions and pay to win and all that crap, they're making a lot of money from Elder Scrolls Online. We've seen this with Rockstar Games. When GTA 5 lost all its single-player expansions and DLCs because GTA Online was just so profitable that Rockstar Games dedicated all their time to it. I don't want that to happen to Elder Scrolls. I don't want to see Elder Scrolls be the next victim, or a victim at all to this trend. I want us to at least have a few true single-player experiences. Now, however, Panda has an opinion. It's different than mine, but I do kind of like his idea on that.
So, I think that there's a way that we can create a multiplayer experience without infringing upon the immersive single-player experience that we're getting. So I think that what we should try and do is maybe go back to some of the other console games and look at what they brought to the table. In particular, I'd like to point at some GoldenEye. I remember a lot of really fun multiplayer experiences just locally. I know it's split screen, but with the size of screens that we have today and the definition that the televisions today have, I feel like a split screen is very viable. I mean, I've played Army of Two and I had fun playing that, and I feel
GoldenEye, I spent so many Saturdays shooting my brother in the dick.
See? Exactly. So what if we did something like that with Elder Scrolls, where I'm walking around and
your friend runs up and stabs you in the
no, more like I'm in Whiterun and I have my companion, and my buddy who's chilling out at my crib watching me play some Skyrim or whatever, Elder Scrolls 6. He likes it, and he wants to jump in as my companion. He can press start. I can go ahead and give him permission to jump into the game, and then he can run around with me, kind of tethered to me, whichever whichever board we're in. Like if we're going into a dungeon or something like that, he can't like leave me because he is my companion. But it gives another player an experience to join into the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that idea. I'd rather have that than maybe a multiplayer only mode where you just go have like an arena mode or something. Although an arena does sound kind of cool.
Oh yeah, no, I think that an arena mode is a very feasible option.
Viable
option. There we go. Viable option for us to have, and I feel like what we really want is an experience where we can feel like the gladiator in the arena mode. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it doesn't turn into what so many other arena modes have done for it. Like, for instance, Diablo.
Yeah.
That kind of goes kind of crazy really fast. Everybody starts hacking the game and creating weapons and armor. That's just ridiculous. You'd have to find a way to balance an arena mode like that. But if you could do that, that'd be a really viable way to draw in a lot of players.
I don't want ElderScrolls to be Call of Duty-ified, I suppose, is a good way of putting it. So the co-op thing would be interesting because it would allow you to choose, whether or not you want to do multiplayer. And plus it would be fun to do co-op with your friend. And I guess another concern I had is that any resources they would have had to allocate towards putting multiplayer in Elder Scrolls 6, that time, those resources, that RAM and all that data and all those megabytes could have been spent improving the single player experience. So that's another reason why I was on the fence. But I suppose that adding the co-op option wouldn't take that many resources really if they did it correctly.
Well, you could
you were saying.
You could do like a slight adjustment to where, you know how you have the tree of your astrological skill tree. You could have like a mini one of those for your companion, and that could be something in single player mode that you get to control. And then when a second player wants to jump in as your companion, they're just running the character that you have built. Now, if you haven't allocated those points and you saved them up because you have a buddy and you know that they're going to want to play with this companion, right? Then they can jump into it and level up that companion.
So you could basically choose to play just you, and you have your companion that a guest could play whenever they wanted, or you could look at it as the way of, a couple are playing together.
Sure.
Whenever they can.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, that would be nice.
I think it'd be fun to play Elder Scrolls 6 with a friend, or even Sam and I, and exploring and stuff.
Another experience I think that would be fun with that is like the LAN Halo experience from like the original Xbox days, where you could just have two people playing on a system like we were just talking about, with the main character and the companion, and then I can bring over RPS and play Skyrim, me and Marie in the same house with you guys, and she would be my companion, you would be his companion, and then we could go on like party missions. There could be a whole subset of program missions for multiplayer like this, like a LAN application for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of unexplored ground there, and like what you said, unfortunately, because of the way that the market trends, right, there might not be an opportunity for this.
Yeah, exactly. And they would have to do the LAN thing. I did LAN parties for Medal of Honor and all sorts of games way back. They're a lot of fun. I think they'd only have to go multiplayer, co-op, and maybe add LAN into it. But as far as split screen goes, a lot of people want to see split screen, but it takes a lot of resources away from other stuff to put split screen in the game, because essentially, if you think about it, they have to now have two separate games going on at once, two separate display outputs going on at once, two separate things that the CPU needs to keep track of now going on at once.
But there's also two consoles doing the work.
That's with LAN, yes, but I'm talking about split screen.
Ah, okay.
That puts a lot of power. They have to take a lot of resources away from making the game and just save that allocated power of empty and unused RAM and whatever, so that they can have that just in case people want to do split screen. Now with co-op and LAN, that wouldn't matter, because there'd be, like you said, everyone would have their own console doing it. So that's the reason why you don't see split screen in a lot of games anymore. Borderlands, I think, is one of the few games that still does it. They can get away with that because their art style is really minimal and doesn't take them any resources to run the GPU for those games. Elder Scrolls, on the other hand, I highly doubt we'll see that, because one of the things about Elder Scrolls is the graphics and just the environments and all the little details, like the fish jumping out of the streams and the clouds and the mountains.
there would be a possibility for it to be really glitchy with that much going on, I suppose.
Yeah, it would just, especially
compared to Minecraft.
At the same time, the way that I understand it, and I don't have a full understanding of it, but there are like a grid of areas, and they get loaded up in the world map, right? And so if the cooperative players are tethered together, and I can't leave, if I'm the companion, and I can't leave that load area, I'm tethered to you. Is it still going to use up all of the extra power that you were talking about?
It would, in a way, and the reason I say that is because this incorporates another thing I was thinking about. Perhaps if Elder Scrolls 6 was only allowed, or could only be run on decent PCs, maybe, but because they want to get sales for console games, and consoles are usually at least 1 to 2 generations behind modern PCs, because they're scaled back, they probably wouldn't be able to do it, because they'd have to hold resources back so that they can put the game out for consoles as well.
What if they didn't do split screen? What if you both could play, but the combat was kind of like in Dragon Age? What other games are kind of like that, where you can have somewhat an overhead view, and that would allow for both characters to play, have room for movement.
You're talking about like the old school, really zoomed out. That seems more like that would work for League of Legends.
Zoomed out,
but something where it's more like Champions of Norath and or Diablo-esque, where you're in like almost a top-down third-person perspective.
Yeah.
So that
3/4.
But both players still have a little bit of freedom of movement.
Right.
That'd be a difficult. I feel like visually that could probably be a difficult transition to make.
Yeah, I don't think Elder Scrolls would do that. One thing they're usually centric on is their first person, and even when they tried to do third person, the animations didn't work really. I mean, they didn't. But that's a good idea. That would be a way that they could incorporate that. But I think that would just have to be the online co-op thing where you just join your friend and then you're in there, you take their companion or something, and then that's how that would work. That's probably the easiest way, and the at least the definite way they do it. If they added LAN, that would be awesome too. If they added the ability to actually go into Skyrim or wherever you're gonna be, that would be cool.
Yeah, just
like
the
Portal.
LAN, like by itself, I feel like it's going to be a really good one. Imagine even if there was no co-op, 4 different people in 4 different rooms of the same crib going on a party together to get back the golden claw.
It would, it would be really cool too if there was like some kind of ruin you can discover and you had to have 2 people do something at the same time to open it, so it was like a co-op only.
Oh.
Yeah, like a co-op only thing to where, and then it's super hard. That way most people can't complete it, but if you do, you get something really awesome or whatever, a cool achievement, a dagger, something, you know.
Definitely.
General Elder Scrolls things.
Silver fork.
Yeah, you get the silver tuning fork from Section 8. Of Metal Gear Solid. So yeah, that'd be, like I said, I'm kind of against multiplayer in Elder Scrolls, but Panda's idea seems pretty awesome. I think I could get into that as long as Elder Scrolls 6 remains Elder Scrolls, because one thing, if you think about, makes Elder Scrolls is the whole dynamic and interface and the way the game plays. Even though it's been improved and worked on and modernized with each release of Elder Scrolls, it's always kind of been the same format. I kind of like that about the game. I like how they improve upon it, but it's still familiar, and I don't want it to lose any of that because of them adding multiplayer. If they added the co-op thing and it was still what I know as Elder Scrolls, I would like it probably and enjoy it, or at least be open to it. I just don't want it, this to be the beginning of a trend where they start to change Elder Scrolls far away from what we know it to be. I don't want the Elder Scrolls 7 or 8 to be unrecognizable from Elder Scrolls 5 or 4 and so on. So I don't think any of us really want that. But the idea of running around with, your significant other or a friend in the Elder Scrolls universe,
or your children,
or whoever, yeah, or even a random person online who's playing in their underwear somewhere.
Kevin the guinea pig.
Or a guinea pig for some reason. Who knows? You could be playing with your alternate version of yourself in another universe where you're actually good at the game. No, I'm joking. So I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about this. I know this has been a heated discussion, so I really want these comments. We've been asking for more and more comments, and we have had a few. I think right now we only have a couple, but I still don't think it's enough. However, when we get enough, I will go back to the first episode and we'll feature all the good ones. Maybe when we get more followers, we'll have enough comments every episode to do a comment call out and feature every episode. So be sure to share this video with all your Elder Scrolls fans. Maybe go on Reddit, pop a link. It really helps us, gets more followers. We want to build an awesome community of Elder Scrolls fans. We all love Elder Scrolls.
That way the game never dies.
That way we can keep it the way we'd like to see it. If we can form an awesome community of fans, we can stand vigil and protect the game and its identity and tell BioWare or Bethesda. I'm sorry. All my videos are about BioWare until whatever. No, tell Bethesda that we want the game to be how we want it to be. I mean, it's up to us to defend it. If no one tells Bethesda anything, they're just gonna listen to trends, and not all the trends are good, at least not for what we want.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah, please help build the community. You could be one of the first people here to do stuff. So yeah, share the video, like it. Don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications on. Otherwise, you might miss our next uploads. We try to upload every week, sometimes more than once a week, but we can pretty much guarantee it should be about every week. So yeah.
Please send cheesecake.
We do like cheesecake or sweet rolls. So yep, comment below, let us know what you think. Once we get more comments, we'll feature a whole bunch of stuff. And don't forget to check out the other 2 videos if you're just listening. This is episode 3. And as always, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.